why do I need to learn a .NET when there are many programming languages in the industry? In other language will be called as in the market there are many languages. Why do we need to select C#? Okay, it's a very important question, and even for the experienced people also the interview question, why do we need to learn .NET, or why do we need application development using .NET, or why the clients are requesting you to develop the applications using .NET. Okay, why do we need application development in .NET? So the first answer is, okay, .NET has unique features. The word itself indicates .NET has unique features. When you're talking about unique features, these features are not available in other programming languages. Okay, so what are those unique features? Okay, we'll see them one by one. Okay, so first one, the first feature is multiple language support. So this is the one and only programming language in the industry providing this feature. What do you mean by this feature? In order to work with .NET, okay, .NET is not asking you to learn a particular language. .NET is telling you that you are allowed to work with .NET using any programming language which you are aware. Am I clear? There is no rule to work with the .NET. I repeat, if you work with the Java, you need to know about the Java code. If you want to work with something called PHP, you should be good in PHP. I'm telling you a question that I'm an experienced person with a VB of 10 years. I'm not allowed to work in Java. Why? Because I need to learn the Java syntax. If I am a PHP person with 20 years experience, can I work in Java? No, I cannot. I need to know about Java. But .NET is not like this. .NET is providing a feature called as multiple language support. What do you mean by multiple language support? Okay, so here any language is allowed to develop applications in .NET. Am I clear? You can use any language which you know. Example, if you are good in COBOL, you can continue in COBOL syntax with .NET. If you are good in VB, you can continue with VB.NET. If you are good in C, you can continue with C++.NET. If you are good in Java, you have a J#. So the feature is multiple language support. What do you mean by multiple language support? Is any language allows. A best example, I'll tell you that more than 50 successful languages, okay, are allowed to develop .NET applications. Am I clear? More than 50 successful languages. What do you mean by successful languages? They are currently continuing in the industry targeting to .NET. Okay, an example I can say that if you are good in .NET like VB, you are allowed to continue with VB.NET. So VB.NET is one of the programming language can be developed using applications targeted to .NET. If you are good in something called C, we have VC++.NET. If you are good in Java, we have a J#. If you are good in C#, we have something called as VC#.NET, etc. Many languages are there. I said you that even I am not fully aware of 50 languages what are there, but we know that more than 50. Apart from this, there are more plugins. Example, you can continue your PHP by adding a PHP.NET plugin. Okay, you can use COBOL.NET plugin. You can use something called Pascal.NET plugin. Okay, Fortran.NET plugin. What are these? These are the plugins generated by some mono community where those languages, okay, those plugins convert your Fortran code to .NET understandable code. Okay, this is the unique feature available in the .NET. Like other programming languages can't even, okay, try to introduce this sort of features. Okay, there is a first and what we call foremost feature related to the .NET, that is multiple language support. Okay, coming to the second one. Once the second one is done, then I'll give you the chance to ask that out. Let's coming to the second one. Language interoperable. What do you mean by language interoperable? In .NET, there is no rule that your application should contain code related to component generated in one language. Okay, that indicates you can have multiple components and each and every component has been designed using different languages. I repeat, you may have multiple components, each and every component developed in different languages can communicate without integration. Okay, let's see this. See here, one component developed using one language, say C#.NET, can communicate with another component generated using other language, say VB.NET. Am I clear? This is possible. Understand? See here, one language developed in one language like C# can communicate with another component which is generated in VB.NET. It is possible. Note, without integration. Right? So this is the best feature related to .NET. You may ask a question that why do we need this? Think that I have two teams. One team is working from USA, one team is working from UK. Think that US team is good in C#, they are developing the components in C#. While coming to the UK, they are developing the applications in VB.NET. Now, as a person in India, as a main architect, I can consume both the components done in both the programming languages without integration. These are the two unique features related to .NET. Let's come into the next one. So I said you that there are many features. Like now we have seen the unique features. Then coming to the other features. Okay, I'm telling you the other features. So the next one is thousands of building libraries. Okay, so this is one of the features. So what do you mean by built-in libraries? There are more than 1,000 libraries which helps us to communicate with different applications, or you can say different databases, etc. We'll see that. Okay, in order to communicate with any application, okay, you will be having lot of libraries ready-made in your .NET. As I said you that there are some assemblies. Okay, assemblies are collection of ready-made classes, pre-compiled classes. All these are libraries. You can see thousands of libraries. Some of the libraries are nested. See how many libraries are there. You have hundreds here. Even I'm keep on scrolling. Okay, these are the ready-made libraries. You can consume these libraries. Even these libraries are having the nested libraries, etc. Many things are there. You can see still okay, after that MNOPQ. Like this will be having many things are there. You can see this. These are thousands of libraries where we can consume. Okay, so this is one of the features. Okay, coming to the next one. Powerful framework. The next feature is powerful framework. What do you mean by powerful framework? .NET framework is comparing to other technologies. It's very powerful. How much powerful in the sense? Most of the softwares in the industry are designed and developed using the .NET only. Without .NET, there are most of the softwares are not exist. Example, you can say that if you want to work with QTP software, you need to have you need to install the .NET framework. So you can understand that QTP is working above .NET. There are many components out there. Okay, many softwares are working with .NET framework. After installing the .NET framework, you can install the file and you can execute. Okay, then coming to the next one, and it's a very important something called as powerful application software. Okay, called Visual Studio. Okay, powerful. Okay, and you can call it as a intelligent software for developing application. Okay, this is what exactly the next feature. We can even call it as a important feature called as Visual Studio. Okay, .NET is famous because of Visual Studio also. Visual Studio makes your application more simple. Clear? So these are some of the features related to .NET technologies. First one is multiple language support. Next one is language interoperable. Third one is thousands of ready-made libraries. Next one is powerful framework, and the next one is powerful and intelligent application software. Okay, hey guys, in the meanwhile, if you have any doubts, please use the chat feature so that your request will come to me. Alright, let's come into the next one. Okay, so we have seen what is .NET. Now we can say that what kind of applications can be developed using .NET. So here in .NET, we can say that instead of creating different applications, I can tell you one answer that .NET allows to develop any kind of application where a client required. So instead of calling, I can develop a web application, I can develop a Windows application, I can tell that .NET is a language, okay, or you can say .NET is a framework which contains different languages, allows me to develop any kind of application where a client is required. Okay, let's see here. I given around 7 examples. 7 types of applications are developed. Okay, best example, I want to I'll explain through what we call as, once again, I'll explain through one problem statement. For example, I want to utilize a feature called as fund transfer. Okay, so this feature, how generally a customer likes. For example, a customer want to transfer the fund of rupees, something called as 1,000 crores. Am I clear? And customer want to do it, okay, immediately. Am I clear? So his requirement is different. So we need to write an application, okay, so handle this one. Okay, we need to write an application, handle this one, that to be done instantly. So for these kind of things, we need to have one more type of application. For example, I want to give something called as a instruction. I want to transfer. For example, I want to lock a user. I want to fund transfer. Something I'm writing instruction based. It is also possible. Okay, so how do these sort of things are there? For example, I want to do the application like fund transfer around the clock. This may be one more requirement. Okay, around the globe. I want to do it. This may be one requirement. Am I clear? For example, I want to do it through my mobile. It is possible. Or I want to do it through my social networking site. Am I clear? I want to do it through my TV channel. TV dish. Okay, TV channel. Is it possible? Anything is possible. Okay, let's see this example in detail. For example, when a customer is telling that I want to do this much amount instantly. Okay, so to do this one, definitely you need to have a kind of application called as native applications. So what do you mean by native application? Native application is an application which is directly involving with the technology. Okay, in order to do that one, we can develop an application called as Windows applications. Am I clear? So your .NET allows to develop any kind of applications. First one I can say Windows application development. What do you mean by Windows application development? Windows application development are .NET native applications. What do you mean by .NET native application? .NET native applications are the applications which are native to .NET related operating system called as Windows operating system. Now this much amount I can transfer to another account instantly with the help of this one, the reliable feature. Okay, next one, instruction based. I want to lock a user. I want to fund it. Simple, I'm telling that fund transfer. Okay, from C1 customer 101. Okay, of rupees something called $1,000. Okay, to I can say customer 102. So this is instruction based. What is this instruction based? I can simply say that console application. So what do you mean by console application and why do we need it? So console applications are instruction based. Okay, what is the advantage? The advantage is we need not to load the program. We need not to install the program. Just pass the instruction. When you double click on the execute, it will work. So you can understand that Here, Windows application need a software to be installed in your machine. Okay, software to be loaded, but console applications need not to load the application, need not to install the application. So you can understand that Windows application requirement is different, console application requirement is different. So this will be handled with a huge amount, whereas this will be handled with small requests. Okay, here install application need to be loaded, application need to be installed in your machine. Here application need not to load, just an executable file is there, using the command line parameter we can do it. Okay, one second. Let's coming to the next one. Here, some of the times client may ask a feature that I would like to operate an application around the clock, okay, around the globe. So how it is possible? I'll suggest him a web application, or I'll suggest him a website. So websites, web applications, which allows me to operate the application around the clock, around the globe. So in my house itself I can do. But what we'll be doing is applications in the web are a bit risk. Why? Because there are a lot of problems. Why? Because web is network of networks. So what we'll be doing is we'll be giving them instructions, or we'll be giving the facilities limited, or we'll be handling this one. So that is also possible with the help of this web application. So another one is mobile application. This is very important. We can develop mobile applications, like we can develop an application which work through mobile phone or tablet PC. This is possible. Am I clear? Then coming to the next one. I would like to have an application. I would like to have a social networking site, and my application to be operated from the social networking site. Is it possible? Yes, absolutely it is possible. From the social networking sites or other technologies can utilize my programs using something called as services. I can write a service. Okay, I can make my application to be operated from any technology, any site, anywhere. Am I clear? Not only that, I can make my application to be processed using a TV channel also. Like you can say some dish TVs, etc. can operate my applications like this. Understand? And what about other things, like can we develop an application which to be operated in my mobile operating system? Absolutely. We can develop an application which should be operated in other mobile operating systems like Android, okay, iOS, etc. It is possible, absolutely possible with .NET. Okay, so these are the different kind of applications can be generated using the .NET. Okay, hope guys you are understand. Let's start from again Abhinit. Abhinit, tell me what are your doubts?
No, I have no question.
Very good. Karthik. Karthik?
No, nothing for now. Nothing for now, Kiran. So far.
Very good. Ravi?
Yeah, fine. No questions.
Okay. Mr. Suresh?
Hi, Kiran. What technology is used for doing the mobile PC and tablet
Yes.
PC? What technology is used to develop that?
Your question is for Windows Mobile or Android? Which one you're looking for?
Windows Mobile.
Windows Mobile, you have .NET directly. If you install a Visual Studio Express Edition, like I can say Visual Studio 2012 Express Edition for Windows. Okay, this software helps you to develop the application for mobile phones and tabs. Okay, it is possible. If you want to develop an application for this one, .NET directly is not possible. As I said you that Mono community has been released a language called as a Xamarin. Okay, Xamarin. If you install a Xamarin, Xamarin helps you to develop an application like application operated in other mobiles like Android, iOS, etc. Clear?
Like for example, yeah, this is a framework which is used to develop Windows, but I'm asking what technology is targeted for Windows Mobile, like Windows Azure, or there are different technologies.
Yeah, you can. As I said, you right. It's interoperable. You can use anything. Like we can use VB.NET. You can use VC++. Any language you can use. Okay. So you should know the syntax of mobile programming language, and you can use anything. Even this is also this feature you will be understanding in a bit how this other language will work. But the thing is, this software you'll be using something called as a XAML code. Okay. You have to use XAML code. Okay. Hello. Is it clear?
Yeah.
You'll be using the XAML code, and you can use whether it's a VB.NET or VC++ or anything.
Okay, very good. One last question probably. What is this other mobile operating systems like Android, iOS?
Yeah, there is a separate language has been introduced called as a Xamarin. Okay, it's one of the additional template. Okay, so it's actually from Mono community. It's a open source. If you can download this one from internet. If you open this, the syntax and environment looks like your. If you select an Android environment will come. Android application development takes like Java syntax and all. So that's environment will come. iOS syntax will come, but it will be part of the Visual Studio. Okay, it's a component. Clear?
Okay, so we can develop Android and iOS applications inside
Absolutely.
Visual Studio?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything is possible. You need to install a Xamarin. Xamarin is available in 2 flavors. One is what will be called open source. One is paid version. Okay, in the open source you can do it for free, of course. Paid version you have to pay for commercial purpose. Clear?
Yeah, yeah. I have one last question if I could ask here.
Please.
How do we know what's inside a DLL, or can we actually see what's inside a DLL?
Yes, we can see. There is something called as ILDASM. Some tools are there. When you open the tools, we can see the coding of the DLL. Okay, it is possible, but limitations are there. You can see the what will be called method specifications and all. We can see, but we cannot see the entire code. Clear? When you have a procedure, you can see the procedure heading, procedure parts. We can see procedure what will be called parameters, but we cannot see the internal coding. But we'll see that one. I'll show you that. Okay.
Okay.
Very good. So hope guys you understand. See, till now whatever we have been explained related to what is .NET, what can we do with .NET, nothing else. I am not explaining any architecture related to .NET. Okay. So hope guys are clear as of now. Let's come into the next one. See, I said you that .NET allows you to develop console applications, allows to develop Windows application, allows to develop web applications. So you can say in the market, maximum web applications are developed using .NET. I can show you a small example. So an application which is going to be operating from, okay, Access Bank. This application is completely designed and developed using the .NET only. Okay, so you can what will be called operate your banking transactions using the .NET. Okay, you can see a small example. I can show you that this URL, if you observe, okay, this URL is completely developed. I mean, this application is developed using the .NET. Are you able to see this? Okay, hope you understand, right? So these applications are developed using the .NET. Okay, like you can say HDFC Bank. This application is developed using the .NET only. Okay, so these applications are designed and developed using the .NET. So .NET is reliable. .NET is reliable. You can use. So there is one snapshot has been given in the print, like the Lakshmi Bank. Even this bank is also developed their application using the .NET. Clear guys? Next, coming to the next one. So here, if you open any websites like what will be called newspaper sites, okay, these applications are designed and developed using the .NET only. Okay, so these applications are what will be called not only for displaying the news, will also play some videos, will also play some audios, will allow you to go for what will be called post articles. You can comment, you can respond. Many things are possible. Okay. Earlier days, newspaper is nothing but a web page. Now these are web forms which need a programmable. All these are programmable forms. You can understand that these applications are designed and developed using the .NET. So you can understand that these days clients are approaching companies for developing applications with the prerequisite is .NET. When the company is not able to do it .NET, then they are going for other technologies. More than 80%, surveys are telling that 80% people are happy with .NET. 80% people are happy with .NET. Okay. Now when it coming to .NET is famous because like you can see the continuation. Very comfortable. First of all, the thing is very, very comfortable. What do you mean by comfortable? You can easily handle the situation, okay, like developing the application, executing, etc. And I said you that it is something called multiple language support, which is having a very, very application faster development feature with the Visual Studio. And the next one, yeah, one more important question I want to tell you. Most of the people will ask you a question while comparing to Java, okay, is .NET is a platform independent? Okay, so this is a question, and what is the answer? From Microsoft, it's dependent. See here, Microsoft responds as dependent. Okay, Microsoft say Microsoft developed .NET, okay, to run on Windows operating system. Am I clear? So as per Microsoft, it is not. It is designed and developed only for Microsoft. But what happened? .NET has been become famous. Other languages also want to continue .NET famous, and they designed something called as a mono community. And mono community designed something called as mono CLR. Am I clear? So .NET framework runs in Microsoft, whereas mono CLR runs in Linux and Unix. If it is runs in Linux and Unix, obviously it will automatically runs in iOS and other programming languages. As per mono, here, as per mono, it is platform independent. Okay, finally the solution is partially independent. You can see that. As per the mono, mono is not a product from Microsoft. Mono is a product from mono community. You can download that one from internet. Okay, if you're working with something called Unix operating system, Linux operating system, you have to install the mono CLR. Okay, when you have a mono CLR, your application will work with Unix, Linux, etc. Okay, this is the answer for .NET is a platform independent or dependent. It's a platform partial independent. Let's come into the next one. As I said, you right. Other frameworks support application creation, servicing, etc. Okay, next one. I've given that best example. What is the difference between other frameworks and .NET? See the first example. Other frameworks depends upon one language. .NET supports more than 50 successful languages. Okay, Java is interpreted, which makes Java slower. That is some other concept. Okay, whereas .NET, all programming languages are compiler based. There is no interpretation in the .NET. You have only compilation. Okay, .NET runs very faster in native. Okay, .NET runs in very faster in native. The reason is .NET from Microsoft, Windows operating system from Microsoft. So it is having very good compatibility. Okay. There is something called as a types of features and all, which are not available in other languages. We have in .NET. Okay, .NET languages are very richer than Java. They include types of pointers, everything. You will be understanding them slowly. Okay, let's come into the next one. Okay, so evaluation, you can see that. 1 second. See here. .NET released approximately on 2000 the version called as 1.0. Okay, .NET released with a version called 1.0. Okay, 1 second here. Released with 1.0. But what happens, you know, .NET came to the market in 1.0, but it is failed to what will be called make on stand his with commitments. Okay, there are a lot of problems in the .NET 1.0. Then what happened, you know, approximately in 2003 they released something called as version 1.1. So version 1.1 is reliable. So people became confident that we can rely .NET. Okay, so .NET introduced in 2000 the version called as a around 2002. Okay, it is released with a version called as 1.0, and after that 2001 onwards it released with a version called as a 1.1. Then they introduced something called as version 2.0 and version 3.0. Okay, version 3.5. Up to these versions, okay, .NET is okay in the sense you can really reliable and all, nothing special. But from 4.0 onwards, okay, it is completely changed. Version 4.0 onwards, it's completely changed. It's coming with something called Visual Studio 2010. Okay, 4.0, it came with a new architecture. Okay, it came with new architecture. Okay, with additional facilities and all. You will be understanding those facilities slowly. Okay, and next one, if you install Visual Studio 2012, you'll be getting version 4.5. If you install Visual Studio 2013, you'll be getting version 4.5.1. Okay, there are different things are there. See here, Initially we have different languages and all. So here for application development and all, earlier we used to have C, C++, etc. And long days we used to have C++, then CFS, okay, C++, okay, something called frame classes, etc. And in the year like around 85, I think around 85 to 2000, VB is the best programming language in the market. Okay, there is no competitor for VB. At that time Java came to the picture. Java changed the world, everybody knows that. Java is fully network oriented, secure oriented and all. Okay, and then what happened, parallelly .NET has been introduced, but .NET has been introduced in the year 2001. Okay, before 2001 there is no .NET. Okay, let's come into other frameworks and all, we discuss this one, right? Let's see the next one. So .NET, okay, what is .NET? We can say that it's first of all the advantage related to .NET. Okay, .NET support many languages. Okay, .NET support many languages. Okay, all languages in the .NET are OOPs, object-oriented programming. When you talk about a OOPs are fully secure. OOPs are fully secure. You can rely on them. Okay, so you can understand that bank customers are programmable using OOPs. Okay, email customers are programmable using OOPs. Like many things are there. OOPs are fully secure. Okay, completely OOPs coming with completely separate entities and all. Next one, what will be called, some applications are integrated. Okay, see, generally while working with the .NET evaluation, you can say that OOPs programmings are a bit different. Okay, then you have something called as COM components, then you have something called as database, .NET framework. So where does .NET framework came? .NET framework came from the previous feature called as component object model, COM. Before that we used to have OOPs models. Okay, but what are OOPs? When you talk about the OOPs are nothing but separate entities. Okay, what are separate entities? The entities which are available, okay, in separate place where we can store, okay, we can restrict where we can manipulate anything. So OOPs are completely individual entity. If you are able to see this example, when you want to have OOPs programming, this entity is different from this entity. Okay, there is a previous problems in object-oriented programming. Okay, easy application has its own, every application has its own component that may not be shared with the applications. Then next to the OOPs there is something called as a COM. COM stands for component object model. What is component object model? Component object model allows you to communicate with different objects. I can tell you a small example. My student database can be communicated with lecturer database or employee database. COM provides integration of objects with plumbing feature like OLEDB, etc. With a COM feature, we can communicate with different components. Okay, these components are built on common platform with intention to sharing and reusing components. Okay, in the COM there is a problem that plumbing is required. Plumbing is required in the sense there should be a mediator person who should be able to apply the communication. Coming to the .NET framework, .NET framework is coming with what will be called as an inbuilt feature with this what will be called communication from different components. So .NET is a framework built up with standards and objects that can directly interact where plumbing is not required. Okay, so you'll understand this one in a bit. And .NET components are written using VB.NET. Our objects can communicate directly. Okay, one second. Okay, so history of .NET, okay, .NET has been introduced in the year 2000, okay, with a version called as a 1.0, but there are a lot of issues in that one, and they came up with 1.1. From 1.1 onwards, .NET is fully secure. Okay, advantage of .NET we already discussed. Once again we'll repeat. It's a common language specification. I'll tell you. Architecture of .NET, how a .NET works. Okay, any programming language can create application or can develop application. Okay, so you can communicate with the .NET. So how it works? For example, you are communicating with VB, or you are communicating with C#, or you are communicating with some C++. Okay, how a .NET may work. See, there is a logic behind that. What exactly will work? We'll see. with the help of .NET architecture. So first of all, here every programming language has its own compiler. Do remember that .NET programming languages must have compilers. They should not have anything like interpreters, etc. parsing. Okay, it needs something like a compiler. Example, if you work with a VB.NET, VB.NET has VBC compiler, whereas C# has CSC compiler. VB.NET has its own compiler. Understand? Different compilers are there. Now what exactly happens when you compile a program? Whether you use a VB.NET, VC# compiler, whatever C++, it will generate something called as IL code. Even if you use a VB, IL. If you use a VC#, IL. VC++, IL. So you can understand that any programming language should have a respect to compiler in the .NET. What a compiler will do? A compiler will convert the given code, okay, from user given syntax to IL. Then what is an IL? What is IL? IL stands for intermediate language. What is IL? IL stands for intermediate language. What is intermediate language? It is a standard input code for .NET framework, okay, to process. Am I clear? To process. So actually you need to supply IL. Okay, you need to supply IL. We can't supply IL, but what we will be doing is we're taking the support of programming languages. Every programming language will develop this IL. So what it is? IL is nothing but intermediate language. Okay, how IL gets generated? Okay, by build the application. Okay, when the application is built, okay, do remember, when the application is built, IL gets generated. Am I clear? So every programming language, as I said you that when you compile a program, an IL gets generated. Okay, build is nothing but the compiling. IL gets generated. So this is the first step. Then what IL will do? Okay, IL take the support of JIT. What it is? JIT. So what is JIT again? Just-in-time compiler. Just-in-time compiler. What it is? This compiler will, okay, convert IL code to native code. What again in native code? Native code is an operating system understandable code. Okay, so your IL code will take the support of JIT and it will convert into the native code. Whereas that native code will execute in the system and makes your application to be processed. Okay, so this is a .NET architecture, or you can say, okay, program execution in .NET. Who will take care about all these things? There should be a person called as runtime, RT. Who is RT in .NET? CLR. What is a CLR? Common Language Runtime. So Common Language Runtime, what it will do is it makes you to convert your programming language into IL into the native code. Whereas native codes are the common codes for Windows operating system. Do remember that native code is Windows operating system for CLR. For mono CLR, it will be native to the particular operating system where you are going to be working. Okay, and do remember that in .NET, every program will be compiled 2 times. Okay, 2 times. One from programming language to IL. Okay, second one IL to native code. We'll see this IL to native code. Guys, clear? Okay, before continuing, let's see that whether you have any doubts. Abhinit.
Yeah, can I have 2 doubts? One is, can you explain a bit more about the COM components and how the plumbing works? And second is, I mean, I'm not sure whether this JIT is the one which converts IL to native code. Because as far as I know, I mean,
Yes.
JIT, it is used for the dynamic, the dynamic loading kind of thing. I mean, is it the one which converts IL to native code?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
dynamic loading is required. IL to native is a dynamic loading.
Okay. Okay.
IL to native is a dynamic loading. So dynamic loading will be taken care by the JIT only.
Okay.
Right? Right.
Okay.
And your question is like, yeah, what is this COM comprehension, right? See here, these are the earlier, before that, what will be called, I can tell you a small example here. Let's see this. Okay, so plumbing is required in the sense, I'll tell you a small example here. For example, you have two applications, okay, an application which is having two libraries, okay. So earlier we don't have anything like a repositories, okay. From .NET onwards we have a concept called as a repository. That repository is nothing but a assembly code. This is a repository for all your libraries. Okay, before .NET, okay, we used to have COM components, and there's COM components, there is no repository. We used to have something called as individual components. Okay, for example, you want to compare two classroom attendances. For example, think that there are two colleges, one college in two branches, one is in one area, another one is another area. So when you have that type of things, you need to have two applications working in two places. Okay, so definitely when you do that one, they used to have the COM components. So college 1 use a component 1, college 2 use a component 2. But if you want to communicate with the component 1 and component 2, that is not possible directly. That is possible with the help of internal architecture called as plumbing features. Okay, so generally we'll be using, earlier as per my knowledge, they used to have OLEDB as a plumbing feature. With the help of that one, I can tell you a small example here. For example, you want to compare with branch 1 students with branch 2. Okay, when you compare branch 1 to branch 2, what happens, a result gets generated. Once a result is generated, next day, if anything happen in the branch 1, it will not be updated immediately. It need a plumbing, something called as, you need to refresh that one. So that feature is called as a plumbing. Okay, but while working with the .NET, that plumbing features are not required here. Okay, what do you mean by this one? Once you write a code, okay, you are writing libraries. Libraries will be hosted in the assemblies here. Once a library is hosted here, when you try to consume that library will refresh the what will be called changes made. Okay, so but this plumbing feature is not required in your .NET framework. What I mean to say is clear? Abhinit, clear?
Yeah, I mean, not fully. I mean, I still haven't understood. I mean, the example which you're giving, like in the case of plumbing.
Plumbing in the sense, what I mean to say, you need to have some extra effect to this required, like refresh and all. Okay, which will not be happen anything directly. So I'll tell you a small example here. You think that you're a parent, you have your own database and application in your company, like employee portal is there, right? So your employee portal, in the sense, a portal will be, see what I mean to say is before .NET, okay? When you don't have .NET, earlier we used to have a components and all. The thing that you wrote one component which is going to be handling employee payroll system. Am I clear?
Yeah.
And for example, your company is also offering what will be called as a school feature for the students of the employees. For them, they wrote their own application. That application, again, it is developed in some other language. They are having their own component, like VB or something. Now, what is my question is, your salary to be deducted from your employee portal and his fees to be credited over there. So you can understand that his fee payment to be happen from two components. Component 1 to be deducted, component 2 to be credited. Am I clear?
Yes.
So if you do that one before .NET, we used to have a COM components. So COM components, what they will do is, it will go and pull and do it. To do that one, there will be something called as what will be called as some additional work is required. You cannot do it directly. So there should be request to be sent to the third party. Third party will go there and will get it. Am I clear? If you don't do any changes, what happens? The old procedure will be followed. Okay, that is what exactly need any updation called as plumbing feature. Whereas in .NET, it's not like this. It will automatically happen. I can tell you a small example. Your employee portal has been developed using VB.NET. Student portal is maintaining using C#.NET. Okay, but both applications can be communicated at any time without writing any plumbing feature. For example, in that your salary has been increased. Okay, his school fees has been increased. By simply sending a notification, he can pull the fees from your application directly without interacting or without adding any additional code. That as per my knowledge. Clear?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Right. Next one. Karthik.
So Kiran, I have a question here. So suppose if we are developing in a different operating system, okay, and if you want to compile that in .NET framework, do we?
.NET applications, I think that you wrote one program which is run in Unix and another one which is run. Okay, yes, I'll tell you the solution. See here, one thing you need to remember here, the input provided by the user in .NET, when it is built, it is going to be producing something called as assembly.
Okay.
Okay, whatever it may be, whether it's a Windows operating system or Linux operating system, etc. Am I clear? Okay. The first thing you need to remember. See here, while writing a program, you have to be very, very clear. Okay, others, hope you understand his question, right? His question is, he's having a C# program, one program in Linux, one program in Windows. Do we need to recompile? I'll tell you the solution. Any .NET, the output will be assembly, and an assembly can be a DLL or EXE. Do remember that. It's not only DLL or not EXE. It can be anything. Am I clear?
Okay.
Okay. Now, DLL is for what? To consume, not to execute. DLL only for consume. Can be consumed. Or you can say must consume. Am I clear? Cannot execute. This is one point you need to remember. Am I clear? So what about this EXE? Must execute. Okay? Cannot consume. Am I clear? Now, your question is, you said that one you developed this. See, if you develop a library here, that library can be directly consumed here. You need not to worry. Am I clear? Okay. Why? Because library contains what? .dll extension. .dll contains what? IL code. IL code contains what? Standard input code for .NET. Okay. So that .NET, what happened, you know, you have an IL, right? See here, this assembly, whatever you build, it is an input. As I said you that every program need to be compiled twice, right? So your thing is, we'll be having the first time compilation. So second time compilation is mandatory. Am I clear?
Okay.
So this will be taken care by this one what? JIT will take care of this. Am I clear? So JIT will take care of this. So you need to be very, very clear that the second time need a second consumption that JIT will take care. So definitely you need to have that to be processed the second level, first level need not to happen. Am I clear? So first level compilation need not to happen, second level execution must require. Is this clear?
One question here, Kiran. So you said that it is platform dependent, right? I mean, as far as Microsoft is concerned, it's
100%.
platform dependent. So my question is like, I have developed an application in Unix operating system.
Application. So, what is application?
Yeah.
Is it EXE or DLL?
No, that DLL concept won't be there in Unix, right? That is something specific to .NET.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, libraries are some library extensions are there. Okay.
Yeah, extensions, but the Unix libraries are different, right? So if
Yes.
I want to reuse that application, or if I want to enhance that application whichever developed in Unix operating system in .NET,
yes,
I have to take that entire code from from that Unix operating system, whatever developed. I have to convert everything into DLL and EXE, whichever .NET understands, right? Or
absolutely. You can do that one. You have to do that one. There are some plugins out there which converts this one. Okay, the plugins will take care about this one from converting from operating system to another operating system. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we discussed all these things, and do remember that here .NET is a bit costly. For practice purpose, .NET software is available free to download with a version called as a Visual Studio Express Editions. Express Edition is free to download. Okay, but limited period. Okay, I want to tell you something like Visual Studio 2012, okay, Express for Windows. Okay, you can see that one. This is for Windows Phone development, okay, Windows apps development. Okay, using XAML. Okay, let's Visual Studio for desktop. Okay, this is for developing console application, Windows application. Okay, so you can say class libraries. Okay, and you can even call it as a Windows services. So if you install this software, you can develop any one of these 4 kind of applications. And when you install Visual Studio for web, okay, you can develop a website, you can develop a web application and a class libraries for web applications, okay, and you can say web services. Okay, so these are the 3 kind of applications which can be developed with .NET. So you can understand very clearly that limited edition, Express edition softwares are safe. Express edition softwares are free to download. Okay, with limited period. So if you install this, you can go for the Windows. If you install this, you can go for the console, Windows, class libraries, Windows services. If you install this one, web application, Windows application, and a web application can be ASP.NET you can use. Okay, and it also supports something called as MVC also. That is also possible. Clear, right? Next, what is the next one?